Hey everyone, one of the coaches of Unger Academy here, and welcome to our weekly chat, in which we see what happened in the markets over the last 5 days. But before we start, as always, please I invite you to subscribe to our channel and click on that bell to stay updated on all our new videos and all our new content. Hi, we are the Unger Academy, and we teach traders how to make money in the markets. Our founder, Andrea Unger, had been struggling with trading for years until he developed his automated trading method, which he used to become the only 4-time world trading champion. Subscribe to our channel for free tips and tricks. Okay, so let's start with stock indexes, where we can see some varied returns this week. Nasdaq is the one that suffered the most, falling about 2%. However, let's keep in mind that last week it set a new all-time high, so it's pretty normal that it reacted in a bearish way after such a long and significant rise. Finally, here's the mini S&P 500, which went slightly down. As for the European stock indexes, they're the only markets in this sector that went up in the last 5 days. The bond sector was also pretty weak. Look in particular at the T-bond, which fell about 0.6% this week. Over the last 2 weeks, it's also been recovering quite strongly, and the same goes for the Treasury note and Bund. On the other hand, the energy market went down a bit this week, and if we look at its 1-month performance, we see that the energy sector's rise has stopped since about 1 month, especially natural gas, which is falling about 8%. However, let's not forget that the current price levels of natural gas are really high compared to 5 or 6 months ago. On the contrary, the metal sector was completely positive. In particular, we see 4% returns on silver and platinum. And over the last 2 weeks, the downtrend of these markets was somehow reversed. Let's also take a look at platinum. Now, if we look at a longer time horizon, we can see that on a 3-month horizon, the returns are pretty marginal. Mixed returns for the cattle sector too, where there's nothing particularly interesting to mention. Soft commodities, on the other hand, were all positive. The ones that performed the best were orange juice and coffee, which both gained 7%. The performance of cotton is interesting too, since it's still on an all-time high. As you can see, the cereal sector is also positive. And the markets that performed best are soybean meal and wheat, which in particular shows the most bullish trend of the sector. Now let's move on to the currency markets. As you can see, currencies are all negative this week. Among them, the trend of the euro against the dollar is particularly interesting. It went to 1.1444, so it's really on low levels compared to the last 12 months. Finally, let's take a look at Bitcoin, which gained 3.69% this week. Now, given the volatility of this underlying, this gain seems quite marginal. Now, during the week, Bitcoin managed to break through its all-time high. However, as you can see, now it's going through a retracement phase. All right, let's move on to volatility, the historical volatility of stock indexes. As expected, we can see that the volatility percentiles are all very low. Now, we're at an all-time low in the short term, and even on a longer-term horizon of about 1 year, we can see that the returns are on low percentile values. Now, let's also take a look at implied volatility, which in this chart is represented by the volatility index on the S&P 500. As you can see, the levels of implied volatility are also quite low, and they are more or less the same as last week. The curve, that is the term structure of volatility, is incomplete contango, which is the classic term structure of implied volatility during bull market phases. And the VIX is also relatively low. So at the moment, traders don't seem to be worried about the future performance of stock indexes. Now let's move on to the rollover calendar now. Today we've rolled over cotton, while next week we'll have to roll over the crude oil future and the VIX future, which are going to expire. Alright guys, if you want to learn more about us and about how we teach trading here at Unger Academy by following the method of Andrea Unger, the only 4-time world trading champion with real money, click on the link that you'll find in the description of this video. And for any questions, if you have ideas or suggestions, please leave a comment and we'll write back to you. And that's all for today. So I invite you, as always, to please like if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to stay updated on all our new videos, please subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell. And until next week, goodbye everyone.